Today, a couple of really important things. I've got my agenda right here, and what I want to be sharing with you. So these shows, first of all, they're quick. They're happening in 20 minutes, so that each week on a Monday you can get good information, science-based information, mindset practices that you can put into play as soon as the show is over. And the reason, consistency is everything, right? Consistency is everything. And part of what we have to figure out is, what is it that you want and who do you need to be to get what you want? And so if you don't, if you haven't watched these shows before, I'd say grab like a notepad, grab a pen and paper, grab something that you can scribble down notes, because I know I've got at least 3 things to share with you today that really, if you implemented them, could change your life. That's how important this stuff is, right? And every time I learn something, I bring it right back to you. And I have been learning a boatload lately. And so today, it's really what I want to talk about. And this is kind of those hard truths, but I also don't want to hold back, right? Because there's people in your life, your friends, your family, your colleagues, they'll accept all sorts of your excuses and story making. It's what friends and family do. It's kind of what they're supposed to do. They want to be supportive and they want to make sure that we're doing okay. And very often the people that we need to sort of give us that tough love the most, they can't, because they just want to see you doing well. Right? And if that means encouraging you to just go and have that extra glass of wine, they will. If they say, oh, don't worry about it on a Thursday, just come out for dinner with me and have a good time, they will. And I'm here to give you another truth. It's why it's called Let's Get Real About It. First of all, no matter what age and stage you're at, weight loss is possible for you. It's far more than just possible for you. It's an absolute thing that you can expect from yourself. You can expect your body to lose weight, because physiologically, there's really very few barriers to it. So what gets in the way, right? Is it metabolism? Is it thyroid? Is it all the different sex hormones? Is it perimenopause, postmenopause? Sure, some of those things can have influence on our weight loss, but the number one thing that gets in the way of your weight loss journey, anybody have an idea what it is? Yeah, it's you. It's you. It's your ability to stay committed to the long-term journey. And in this day and age, the fad-like diet approaches and quick fixes, they're like a dime a dozen, right? That is the culture around weight loss. It's get it done. Let's have it be quick. Let's do whatever it takes. And let's totally ignore the fact that the reason you're overweight to begin with is because of something that's gone on in your life that created a situation, a circumstance, a chain of life events that caused you to basically want to eat more and drink more, or both. Right? And those those circumstances could be divorce. It could have been after you had kids. It could be work, stress eating because of work. It could be because of a lack of connection with your partner, with friendships, with your own self. There's a million things that happen. And yet we beat ourselves up because we think that the reason we're not losing weight is because of what we're doing, the stuff that we're either eating or not eating, or the kind of exercise we either should be doing and don't do, or we just don't exercise at all. So you have made an agreement. So whether you like hearing this or not, what I want you to get is wherever you are in the world right now, wherever you are in your body right now, it's because at some point you said to yourself, and maybe on a subconscious level, you said to yourself that it's okay. It's okay to be at the last of your priority list. It's okay to not pay attention to yourself. It's okay to not show up for yourself. It's okay to take care of everybody else except you. At some point, that has happened. It means that either you've gotten so busy, overcommitted, overstressed, spread too thin, that you have forgotten on some level that you matter. And so this agreement that you've made, the agreement of not mattering, results often in a body that you might not like or feel comfortable in. For me, I felt so uncomfortable living in an overweight body. It was hard. It was fatiguing. I didn't have energy. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel desirable or sexy or confident. I hated it. I had one pair of fat pants. No joke. And I had to recognize that if I could create that, so remember this, if I could create that, then I, of course, could create something else. Hey, Jackie, good to see you. Thank you for saying hi. So this is so empowering. And I would even say, write this down. If I've created this, then of course I can create something else. You can. But you can't do it unless you don't have or are truly willing to make the commitment to a journey. And I had a client that used to laugh at me. She's like, every time you used to say weight loss journey, I'd kind of snicker and giggle at you and roll my eyes, because all she had ever done was quick fixes. Right? That was what her norm was. So this idea of a journey being there's a starting point and then you have to go through some shit to get to where you want to go. I mean, it is a journey. And at the end of the day, weight loss is you versus you. It is you versus you, and you duke it out. And often the version of you that you don't want to win wins out because it's stronger, right? So here's what happens along the way. In order for weight loss to happen consistently and, over time in a nice, slow and healthy way, well, first of all, you need to start being committed, right? Committed to yourself, committed to choosing you all the time. And I don't just mean when it's convenient. I'm really good at choosing me when life is easy. But the minute that life gets busy or work gets busy and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, I can easily slip back into my old patterns. And I see that now so clearly. And so when it's you versus you, the commitment piece is, are you willing to show up day in, day out, whether you feel like it or not? Feelings are seductive. Having a strong commitment to you means that you are willing to do what it takes regardless of your feelings. Hey, Debbie, so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me today. Pop in questions too, you guys, if you have questions as I go through this, and let me know if what I'm saying resonates with you. Right? Because the goal is to give you something that you can leave this with to then implement right away. So for instance, like say you want to, getting up is where we cannot feel like it. Sometimes the alarm is set for 6 or for 5 or for 7, just pick your time. And you're saying, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning. And then the alarm goes off. And what do? Do you get up or do you hit snooze? If you hit snooze, and if you do this on a consistent basis, and if you do this, if you hit snooze, if you say that you're going to eat well and then you get takeout, if you say that you're not going to drink tonight and then you have the bottle of wine, every single time you do something, say you're going to do something and you don't follow through, what happens is, guess what you have just broken with yourself? Trust. Trust. I literally have a weight loss or a podcast that's called Weight Loss is Like Death by 1,000 Cuts, because what happens over time, women will make all of these promises to ourselves and then we don't keep them. And so imagine if you were in a relationship with somebody else in your life and they said all of this stuff. They said, I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to do this for you. And then they never did it. Would you trust them? No. And so at the end of the day, we have a lack of trust with our own self. And what does weight loss require? Commitment. If you don't trust yourself, do you really believe that you're going to be able to hold the mainstay or the long stay of commitment? Yes or no? What do you think? No. And so it ends up being a self-sabotaging loop that we start to go on. And so that's where, that's why having such a strong vision in who you want to be, the kind of energy you want to live with, the kind of body you want to go through life with becomes so important. You have to have hope. You have to have a vision that this is possible for you so you can bring in who that version of you is to your present today and act like her, make the same choices as her. Would that version of you in the future who's living at her ideal weight and feeling good and feeling confident and loves getting dressed, would she drink the bottle of wine tonight? No. So then why would you? When you get lost on the journey, right? How many of you chase Monday, right? You're going to start again on Monday. And that Monday could be this week. It could be next week. It could be next month. And how many of you have been saying that for maybe months or years, only to get through to Thursday or Friday and then to be like off the wagon again? Part of what happens with this is, on a Monday or at the beginning of the week, our units of energy are high. We have a lot of emotional bandwidth to make decisions for ourselves. And so some of those harder decisions are easier to make. But every single decision that you make requires energy. So by the end of the week, you actually have seen, there's actually sort of depletion of energy, and especially of your emotional energy if you're living life run down, undernourished, right? Living life, coping or numbing with sugar or alcohol. By the time Thursday or Friday comes, it's like you've got, how women say it is, I have no willpower left by the weekend. And it's not about willpower at all. It's about how much emotional energy you can still bring to the game of you versus you. Right? So when you tell yourself whatever it is you tell yourself, and I'm saying it's so not okay to say these kinds of things to yourself. When you say I can't, I don't know how, or it's too hard, this is too hard, or it's not worth it. There's actually 4. What you're saying with it's not worth it is I'm not worth it. Not true. Not true. You're more than worth it, but somehow because you've broken trust along the way, you don't believe that you're going to have the commitment to go through the whole journey. Right? When you say it's too hard, you make the experience feel really hard, so then it becomes really hard. When you say you don't know how, now, there might be some real truth to that. There might be some real truth to the experience of thinking, I don't know what to do. I'm confused. Right? Do I go keto? Do I go paleo? Do I need to get rid of 7 different food groups? Do I need to work out more, work out less? I don't know. So the thing is if there's confusion there, a confused mind stays stuck and takes no action. Because it's I don't want to waste time. I don't know how to do this. I'm already busy enough, right? And you sort of stay on that proverbial hamster wheel. The good news is there's a lot of good information out there about what to do. Right? How do you do this weight loss thing? And the first part, go to Energy to Thrive, right? It's a podcast. I've got 20 episodes that help teach you about what you do need to do to see weight loss happen in a healthy, permanent way. If you have questions, ask them on here so that you can get the right information to move forward. So many times what life is presenting to us as obstacles is actually our chance to do things differently. One of the things I say, especially if you're somebody, if you have sugar cravings or chocolate cravings or carb cravings, let me know. Just put it in the chat, yes, I do. Or say, yes, that's me. So I know and I can speak to you. But so often what's happening is we are craving food and booze because we're using it as a way to numb, because what we're actually craving is more connection and intimacy in life. More connection and intimacy in our lives. And whether that's from your friends, from parents, or from your partner, right? Your husband, your wife, business partner, sometimes we're craving to be known and we're craving to be seen, and then we're terrified at the exact same time, because the fear that comes in there is, what if I'm not accepted? What if I'm going to be judged? What if I don't fit in? What if I'm not liked? And all of that can be too painful, especially if you've had a history of where you've been rejected, you haven't been liked, people have cut you out of their life, or you've been dumped or let go of. And right, so we build up defense mechanisms. In the last month, I've been going through a leadership program, really learning how to elevate my own leadership, which of course I'm going to bring right back out here and help you elevate yours, your personal inner stewardship, right? I'm not in public office or anything. It's not like I'm a leader in that way, but I'm a leader in my own life, just like you are, right? You're the leader of your own life. And when you decide to take charge of this precious, beautiful life and make the decision that, write this down, of course I can, things start to shift, because that is the first commitment you need to make. That first commitment is to you and to faith that you have in you, that of course you can do anything, right? The knowledge, you can get that. The support, it's available, right? The commitment begins with an inner desire of getting to that version of you that you want to be. Debbie, you said, yes, that's so perfect, right? What I want you to know is you're not alone. You're totally not alone. I talk to women on planes, at the airports. I teach sessions on this, where this is the conversation that's happening, and women, we are not having a public conversation around it, around what our cravings are really about. And so we make them be about that we don't have willpower, and obviously we're sugar addicted, and obviously we've got some other stuff going on for us, and we've got hormone dysfunction. And 95% of the time, what I am seeing in my clients and in the people I talk to is that the one game-changing thing is that they start to feel connected to themselves again. They start to remember that I have a life, I have a vision, I matter, I'm worth it, of course I can. And from there, that's like the wellspring of possibility. It starts right there. I was I've been on the road traveling for a couple of weeks, and I leave again on Wednesday. And so I've been living in hotels and eating hotel food. And I've got, part of what we have to remember is that it's so easy to stay on our own hamster wheel of what's not possible and of what makes our lives hard. And we become so disempowered when we forget that we have a voice and we have our own ability to make new decisions. I've got all my flip charts here, but I had something written down the other day on a big flip chart, and it said resistance equals the opportunity to do things differently. Resistance equals the opportunity to do things differently. And so it's in my window. My window's at the front of my house, and the mail guy, I had a package coming, so I went to get it, and he's like, oh, I like that poster. He's like, what does that mean, really? He's like, I feel like I should pay attention to this. And I said, yeah, it means that every time you're facing stuff in your life that feels hard or that makes you uncomfortable, it's the opportunity to do it differently than what your habit is. Because whatever it is you're resisting, it persists. I've spent the last couple of weeks talking about what it takes to get authentic with yourself, to be so honest with yourself and those around you about what your needs are, about what your wants are. If you have time right now, ask yourself this, write it down on a piece of paper. What do I want? What do I want? And then, it can start off with the simple. It could be like, well, I want a nap. Or maybe you do want a piece of chocolate right now. I want a piece of chocolate. I want life to be easier. I want to have more friends. I want to feel in love. I want to have more connection. I want to have more time. I want to be more present. Whatever it is that you think it is, whatever it is that you want, what it means is that's like the conduit to you beginning your weight loss journey. By identifying your own needs and wants. You want more energy. You want to feel desirable. You want to have more fun getting dressed and going shopping. Those are not shallow, vain things. Those are real, meaningful things that I believe every woman deserves to have. Doreen, hi. I get to see your beautiful face on your avatar there. Hello. When you identify what you need and want, it starts to become a place where you can now go about creating it. You cannot get what you don't know that you don't want. And so for this, to get that your weight loss journey is like, for most women, life has just shut them down, right? You start to live life shut down, and the world of possibility gets smaller and smaller and tighter and tighter until all of a sudden it feels like there's no way out, that you're just stuck. And it's so easy to feel defeated and like it's hopeless. And like no matter how hard you try, you just can't get ahead. One step forward, two steps back. I hear that a lot. And I promise you, that is 100% not true. It may feel that way, but feelings are not facts. Feelings aren't facts. They're just simply a feeling that you're having in the moment. And how let yourself feel your feelings, or does a crappy feeling come in and then do you just squelch it because it's too hard or painful to be with it? Right? I've been with sadness lately. I've been with anger lately. Right? I've really been, in the experience of frustration. I have been with like all of them, and I've really experienced it, because if you don't experience the emotion, it stays trapped in you. And that is often why we overeat, overdrink, and feel disconnected. We are emotional beings. And the minute we tap into that, we start to set ourselves free again. So this week, right? So it's Monday. So there's 3 things. 1, write down, what do you want? Get really clear. What do you not what you don't want, because it's really easy to be like, well, I don't want to be so stressed, and I don't want to be so tired, and I don't want to have to do everything around the house by myself. So great. It's good to know what you don't want, but you need to know what you do want. Yeah, Debbie, she says that you get tired of the self-sabotage. Oh my God, right? It's exhausting to constantly on the stop, start, like to pick yourself up and to start over again and to start over again. It's like it's crazy making. It is so much easier to just get going and keep the momentum. And so Debbie, part of what I want you to do when you're experiencing self-sabotage is, first of all, if you notice that you're on the path to creating it, do something different. You're just facing resistance. Whatever it is, the thing that you would normally go and do, go do the opposite, go do something different, get out of that environment, call a friend, go hop in the shower, like just go do something different. And do something different for like a good 20 minutes and see if you can make your way through it, right? Another thing that you can do if you notice self-sabotage is be like, whoa, hello, self-sabotage, I notice you coming here. What's that about? What's underneath this? What is it that I really need? Because I don't actually want to self-sabotage. So what is it that I'm trying to get? Is it a break? Is it just, oh, this is too hard and you've lost conviction? Is it relief? Is, who knows? I cannot say what it is for you, Debbie, but I know for me, when I self-sabotage, usually there's something around a break. And like somehow my thinking goes to, I deserve, right? I deserve a little treat, or I deserve to have this, or I deserve to not have things be or feel so hard in my life right now. And then now in this day, I'm like, who says? The things that are happening in our life are all here to help us grow. Often we just face the same lesson over and over and over again. We refuse to do it differently. We just keep moving like head on into the same resistance over and over. And whatever it is you resist, it persists. So do it differently. So you need to write down, what do you want? Get clear on that. And then get clear that whatever agreement is you've made to be in this body, you can make a different agreement. And I'm coaching women every single day who've shifted the agreements that they've made, right? And it is not an easy journey. I was just going through our Facebook group right now to get caught up on all of the comments. And I mean, these women, it is you versus, it is, you know, each woman versus herself in the ring, right? Battling out those self-sabotaging habits and behaviors and thoughts that make giving up feel desirable. Birthdays, feeling like crap because of what somebody says, feeling disconnected from a loved one. So ask yourself, last question before we sign off for today, and I come back next week. I'll be live from Phoenix, actually, Arizona. Who do you need to be to get what you want? Who do you need to be to get what you want? And by be, the being state I'm talking about is, do you need to be more committed? Do you need to be trusting of yourself? Do you need to be enthusiastic? Do you need to be courageous? Do you need courage? I am choosing to embrace courage these days because sometimes I'm a chicken shit. I like to think I'm not. My ego likes to keep me safe and say, no, Jen, you're, you know, but no, I got scared. And then I create all these reasons of why I should just sort of hide out and play it small. It's not, but I do it. So who do you need to be? And write it on a sticky note. Say, I am going to be, or I am being dedicated, committed, and honest with myself this week. And then go be that way and see what shifts for you. Okay? I'll be back next week. We're at our time for this week's Get Real with Jen. Thank you for showing up today. Debbie, I hope that something sparked for you and you get to make a shift. Doreen, so good to see your face. I'll be in the Facebook group in a moment to say hello. And Jackie, glad to have you join me today. Let me know if you have questions. Private message me if there's something I can answer for you. And see you next week, everybody.